Chapter 21. Heavenly Tribulation Descends. The heavens trembled. When Ye Tian declared war upon fate itself, the world did not remain silent. Above him, clouds rolled in from 10,000 directions, merging into a sea of endless darkness. Purple arcs of lightning carved rivers through the void, and thunder roared like the wrath of ancient gods. System alert. Heavenly Tribulation detected high voltage. Type, ninefold descent. Severity, catastrophic. Objective, destroy the rising sword king before ascension. Disciples who had hailed Ye Tian moments before now paled in terror. The pressure alone crushed mountains and dried rivers. Birds fell dead mid-flight. Even the strongest elders retreated, unwilling to be caught in its range. Yet Ye Tian only stood tall. His sword domain spread wider, a mantle of infinite edges swirling around him. So, heaven itself fears me. Then let heaven come. First tribulation, lightning of destruction. A pillar of violet lightning speared downward, thick as an ancient tree. Its power could erase sex, level kingdoms. Ye Tian raised his sword. The lightning met the blade, and split apart like silk before an edge sharper than reality itself. Second tribulation, flames of eternal ash. From the heavens, fire rained down, a crimson inferno that could incinerate oceans. But Ye Tian's sword domain turned fire into light, consuming it and weaving its essence into his aura. Third tribulation, chains of heaven. Golden chains of celestial law coiled from the void, aiming to bind him. They carried the will of the universe, inescapable, absolute. Ye Tian laughed coldly. Chains, I was born in chains, now I shatter them all. With one stroke, the chains of law snapped, fragments scattering like broken stars. Tribulation progress, 3-9 survived. Vital signs, stable. Sword intent, expanding beyond recorded thresholds. The heavens grew angrier. The remaining 6 tribulations swirled together, forming a storm that threatened to annihilate not just Ye Tian, but the entire continent. Witnesses trembled. Even enemies from afar whispered. If he survives this, he will become unstoppable. Ye Tian closed his eyes briefly. For the first time since his Tao heart trial, his voice softened. Not to heaven, but to himself. I carry the will of my fallen, the love of my family, the cries of my brothers. This sword is not mine alone. It belongs to all who dreamed of freedom. He opened his eyes again. They shone with sword light that split heaven and earth. System evolution, triggered police car light. Title, Sword King Right Arrow Sword Sovereign pending. Requirement, survive ninefold tribulation. The storm descended. Lightning, fire, wind, water, stone, void, blood, law, and death. All 9 tribulations merged into one apocalyptic strike. It fell. The world watched. Sect disciples knelt. The heavens themselves seemed to hold their breath. And Ye Tian, the man who defied gods, raised his sword with both hands. With a roar that shook realms. Break! The sword cleaved upward. The tribulation split into halves, then into 1,000 shards of light. The heavens themselves screamed as if wounded. When the storm cleared, Ye Tian still stood. His robe was torn, blood ran from his lips, but his back was straight, his gaze unyielding. Around him, the sky was clear. No clouds remained. No thunder dared to strike again. Only silence. A silence in which all realized. The heavens had failed. System log, ninefold tribulation survived white heavy checkmark. Status, ascension complete. New title, Sword Sovereign. Authority, half step beyond mortal realms. Whispers spread across the world. The Sword King, no, the Sword Sovereign has risen. In realms beyond, ancient beings shivered. For the first time in countless eras, the heavens had bent, but not broken, before a single man. Ye Tian lowered his blade, its edge humming softly. His voice was calm, yet it carried across worlds. Heaven's judgment is nothing before my sword. From today forth, I decide my own fate. And so began the era of the sword sovereign. Crossed end of chapter 21. Chapter 22, the sovereign's first war. The world had gone silent after the ninefold tribulation. But silence never lasts. Beyond the mortal plane in the higher heavens, ancient bells tolled. Realms stirred. Legions of cultivators, saints, and immortals raised their eyes to the lower world where one man had dared to split heaven's will. The sword sovereign has risen. If he consolidates his realm, even gods may fall before him. He must be struck down now. System warning. Multi-realm hostility detected warning. Threat level, existential. Incoming armies. Celestial clan, nether abyss, ancient beast realm. Objective. Prevent sword sovereign from stabilizing his breakthrough. The skis over Ye Tian's world cracked open. From the rifts poured forth armies of light and shadow. Divine generals descended with halos of flame. Abyssal warlords came clad in black chains. Even colossal beasts blotted out the sun, each step causing continents to tremble. Mortals fell to their knees in despair. How could one man face the wrath of three realms united? Ye Tian stood at the heart of it all, sword in hand. His body still bore wounds from the tribulation. Blood stained his lips. Yet his gaze was steady, as if he had already foreseen this moment. So the heavens send their dogs, good. One war to test this new realm. And prove that sword sovereign is not a title, but a truth. System update, breakthrough pending. Current state, sword sovereign unstable. Requirement, baptism of war. Condition, defeat invading armies to solidify cultivation. The armies roared. Tens of thousands of cultivators unleashed techniques that painted the sky with destruction. Rivers of flame, oceans of shadow, spears of divine law, all converged upon Ye Tian. And then, he raised his sword. The sword domain expanded, swallowing mountains, rivers, skis. Every blade across the battlefield, be it enemy or ally, bent toward him. Even the claws of beasts and the fangs of abyssal demons trembled, turning into extensions of his sword will. System surge detected fire. Sword domain evolution, right arrow, sovereign sword world. Effect, all within become swords at sovereign's command. The battlefield changed. Grass turned into sword blades, flowing like tides. Winds cut like endless arrows. Even the blood spilled by the fallen rose as crimson swords, slashing into the enemy ranks. Panic erupted among the invaders. Impossible, he wields the world itself. This isn't a domain, this is creation. One by one, divine generals fell. Abyssal warlords were cleaved in half. Ancient beasts howled as their massive bodies split into rivers of light. But the enemy did not falter. From the highest rift, a figure emerged, clad in golden armor, his eyes blazing with celestial law. The celestial marshal, wielder of heaven's decree. Ye Tian, you dare defy the heavens. Today your sword ends. He raised his halberd, a weapon forged from stars themselves. The clash shook the world. Boss encounter initiated, celestial marshal. Rank, half-immortal god. Objective, survive and overcome to complete sovereign breakthrough. The halberd fell like a collapsing galaxy. Ye Tian met it with his sword, sparks erupting like new suns. The ground shattered, seas boiled, mountains turned to dust. For the first time since his ascension, Ye Tian staggered back. Blood sprayed from his mouth. The marshal laughed. You are strong, sovereign, but not yet complete. Bow to heaven. Ye Tian wiped the blood from his lips, his aura blazing brighter than before. Complete, then let this war complete me. System evolution, final breakthrough surge police car light. Sword sovereign right arrow true sovereign realm, stabilized. New authority, sovereign sword world permanent. Skill unlocked, heaven-slaying edge, one strike to sever laws themselves. The sword in Ye Tian's hand, blazed with an edge that tore reality. He swung. The halberd shattered. The celestial marshal's body split apart, dissolving into fragments of law. The battlefield froze. Tens of thousands of enemies stared in horror as their supreme commander fell in one stroke. System log. Baptism of war completed, white heavy checkmark. Breakthrough. Sword sovereign realm solidified. Status. Invincible within current world. Warning. Fate's counterattack inevitable. Ye Tian stood among corpses, his sword humming with endless power. His aura now rivaled the heavens themselves. He raised his blade high, his voice shaking realms. Remember this day, the first war of the sword sovereign. From now on, no heaven, no god, no realm shall chain me again. The armies, once so proud, broke into retreat. The rifts closed, but whispers carried through all worlds. The sovereign has risen. War is inevitable. Crossed end of chapter 22.